club was formed in 1969, and over that approximately 50 years the club has grown massively. To date we've about 42 teams, and it's grown in every way. We've more boys, girls, adult male and adult female teams. The club has become a place where no matter what age you are, there's a place for you at the club. We see ourselves as more a community club who aspire to be playing as high a league as possible, doing, I suppose, developing kids as best as we can. So with that in mind, the club developed a development plan which is pretty unique, I would imagine, where kids come out of the academy and while every player would be graded, we try and mix those teams, that there's graded players of all abilities on each of those teams, that they're as equal as possible. So we're not playing in the highest league and we're not playing in the lowest league. We're looking to play somewhere in the middle. Coaches continually assessing that we try and move players up if they need to go up and move them down if they need to go down. So that maybe the game becomes a little bit easier for them to get them back in that routine of scoring goals or whatever it is, so that we can try and get them back up to the level that we think they're capable of. We're trying to keep as many players as we can, playing as high a league then for those top teams as possible, keeping it as competitive as we can for the other mixed ability teams. Is it a perfect system? I challenge anybody to show me a perfect system, but it's certainly a system that is working for us. There are some players who might want to go and try and give it a try at a club that, one of the top Dublin clubs that they think that they want to give that go, to try and go to Manchester United or play abroad or go and play League of Ireland, and we certainly don't want to challenge that. We're trying to put something together where you can still be competitive and you can still have those opportunities, but you can do it with your friends, and that's what we're trying to promote here. What coincided with the growth of the club was the massive growth in women's football. It's not long ago where we had no girls teams. We now have a girls academy, a girls only academy. We've got teams of practically every age group, and this year we have our first ever senior women's team competing in the league as well. So now for women, we've got a system where there is a pathway right through the club and continues into senior football. It really is a landmark year for the club. You've a landmark year for Irish football. You've Ireland qualified for the World Cup in Australia. We had Vera Powell here a couple of months ago, who was blown away by the support from the club, by the size of the women's section, and for, I suppose, the passion from the young girls, young women who want, I suppose, to aspire to that and now have role models in the shape of that Irish women's team and League of Ireland teams. Ultimately the club is here to try and provide a level of football that girls can come along and get involved. This year we've seen our first ever girls team travel away, where they've gone to Celtic Football Club, and being a part of that experience of getting to go away and being trained by different coaches, being trained by professional coaches, and by seeing a professional setup. It was great to actually get the 2008 group over to Scotland. We had a fantastic time, and the people of Celtic couldn't have been better. They were great hosts. If I'm honest, I was a little bit concerned before we went. You're bringing a group of approximately 30 boys and girls who are 14 years of age away, and some of them probably away from home without their parents for the first time. I needn't have worried, to be honest, because they were exemplary. Their behaviour was incredible. They're a great bunch of kids, a credit to their parents, a credit to the club. Certainly, I think the people of Celtic will be talking about the young men and women from Lusk for a long time to come.
Lusk United, over the course of the years, obviously founded in 1969, has had a great community spirit about it. To find a club that shares the same values as a community football club is quite difficult, and not treat you as a revenue stream. Back in 2015, I think Celtic had about 28 partnerships. Now they have less partnerships, but more strong and valued partnerships. Lusk United, I believe, is probably one of our best partnerships we have with Glasgow Celtic. So it was from there. We've been over, I've met them a couple of times, I've been over to a coaches convention with them, and I basically just started spreading the word here in Lusk about the partnership. And in 2016 we had a launch here in the pitch where Barry Rogers came over and met us, and we had a big launch, we had a contract signed with them, and we've stayed partners since, so we're one of their longest partners here in Ireland. The Celtic Soccer Academy is obviously the educational and footballing side of Celtic Football Club. They are very good at facilitating their partner clubs over. The experience for the club and for the players when they go over is so detailed. The itineraries are so packed. It was very much aligned with how their academy usually work over the weekends. So from the time we arrive in Glasgow on the Friday afternoon, it's training sessions, it's full-on matches, recovery, presentations about mindset, presentations about nutrition, which rolls into the Saturday where you do the stadium tours, and then we'll then go into matches against local opposition or even the Celtic academies. It gives us a great insight into how academy football should run. And the most recent group, this is the first time the club has ever brought a male and female group away together. I'm sure there's many clubs who haven't even done that yet, but it was by far probably our best trip away. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of late hours. So this whole plan for this trip away with the boys and girls took in total about 5.5 months to plan. It's very important we get the right balance of football, social, psychological, team building, and then the nutritional side of it, as well as the social side of it with alternative teams over there. The first day of the trip, obviously, it wasn't too early a start, so we met the coach outside. We get our own exclusive luxury coach, thank God, and we met them outside. And JJ Kavanagh obviously supplied the coach, fantastic driver as well. We drove up to Belfast. Very short trip, really, in the grander scheme of things. Ferry over to Carn Ryan, another 2-hour journey down to Glasgow Celtic. Once we arrive in Glasgow, it's full on. The itinerary is really detailed. So we land at Barrowfield, which was Celtic Football Club's original training ground, right where the Celtic Supporters Association is. We went onto the pitch and the girls automatically start a training session with Rudy, and the boys then spread onto the second part of the pitch with Dave, and they worked on an intensive programme. The girls session was more driven towards tactics, first touch, and being able to have confidence on the ball and build their confidence.
Okay, so my name's Rudy, so I'm going to be taking you for the full time you're here. Now, while we're here, the idea is to give you a little flavour of what we do here at Celtic. Okay, now it is going to be intense, it is going to be hard work. All I can ever ask from you is to give me your best. Okay, if you're giving me 100% whether it's going right or wrong, okay, that's all I can ask from you. Our core aim for the session is killer passes. Okay, it'll be the passes that take us from the midfield third into that final third, go and score goals. Now, for the next part and for everything we're going to do in here, okay, it's going to be how we open up our body and go and control the ball. Okay, there's still a few people who are standing here like scarecrows. Okay, when that ball's coming to me, I want to try and play in the future. Before that ball comes to me, I know what my next move is going to be. So if I'm going for the ball there instead of standing square, okay, which is only going back that way, okay, if I can open up my body, I know where my next pass can be. Yep, pass, I'll take it, one touch, play with the next. Okay, I'm always playing in the future. Before that ball reaches me, I know its next destination, I know where it's going next. What I'm going to get you to do though, is get all the footballs you can get, okay? There's an orange cone in the centre there, can I have them dribbled and put in a pile, not passed over. If you're going to pass them, get someone to control them. All the footballs we've got over there, quick. As best we can, looking for it to be done in 15 seconds, or we're all doing dance moves. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8. If you got to do it, or we run. Let's go, I'm not joking.
Guys,
Just jump around, that's fine, do that. Right, I'm just going to stop because that's the worst one I've seen in a very long time. And bear in mind, I coach a team of girls the same age as you. That's the worst one I've seen yet, well done. Okay, play, let's go, first pass is free. Good, she's in, can we finish? brilliant, that's what we look for. Green again. You score, you keep attacking, that's what we're looking for. That killer pass, excellent. If we're not building, we're breaking. We try and play side to side. Okay, what about building and breaking? What's the difference?
Building is making yourself bigger, breaking is splitting them.
That's it, building is when making myself bigger. I'm trying to create them gaps. I'm not necessarily playing it in one pass. And we're looking maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 passes. And then when we're talking about breaking is if we've turned over possession here. Okay, for example, in a game, if I turn over possession here, am I going to look to try and go back and play 6 or 7 passes in an actual game of football match? No. If I turn over possession, I've got a player there, I'm playing in one pass, I'm yeah, that's when we look to talk about breaking the play. Yeah? Right, well done. Okay. Now, what do we say the key thing was trying to move what? Not just moving the ball, but move who?
The defenders.
Move the players, exactly. Now, when it starts to get tight, when it starts to get congested, what do I say? What's the key thing we can try and do?
Spread yourselves out.
That's it, try and get it as wide as possible. If we can get our players here to spread and switch, okay, what does their team need to do? Where do they need to go? They need to shift over, okay? So if they shift, which they would do 9 out of 10 times unless the team is honking, okay? If they shift, okay, and it becomes condensed and tight down that side, if we are able to get this pass or this pass into here, okay, all it becomes a test of is how quickly can they shuffle. Yeah? It's 9 out of 10 times what's going to, or 9 out of 10 times, but a lot of the times is this player will come tight and now suddenly you'll become isolated. So we either have a 2v1, a 1v1, or we have the ball in there for a gap. Okay, you see the wide players we're using? That's essentially what they players were. Yeah? So there, when it's tight, when they shuffle over, okay, when that happens, we then look how can we switch, okay, how can we create the gaps between here. The more I can move a player, the more I can create the gaps between these players, and these players, the more we're able to play these passes in. Someone tell me I'm looking for 3 or we can't leave. Okay, any 1, 3 things either I've said or something we've done tonight.
Spread it like butter.
The evening, so spread it like butter, that's it. If it's tight, we spread it like butter. Either into the centre mid and wide, or if that ball's on, we play that.
Killer passes.
Killer passes, what are they?
You're breaking the defence.
That's it, we're killing it, we're cutting it through the gaps in between them, absolutely. I'm looking for 4 then, since them 2 are good.
Birthday invitation.
Birthday invitation, what is it?
Things you need to know playing in the future.
That's it, yeah, playing in the future, a birthday invite. What goes in a birthday invite? Tell me things you get on it. Where to go, what to do, when to be there. Yeah, what are you going to do when you get there? Yeah, all the bits you'd put on that birthday invite is what you should be putting on a pass. Yeah, because think about it, if this player, if I'm playing to you right now, I know you can't see there. So I'm telling you what to do when you get there. I'm telling you what's happening when we get there. I'm telling you what time to be there. Yeah, because that way it's going to be easier for every time you receive that ball. So my name's Rooney McInnes and I'm one of the international and domestic coaches at Celtic. Obviously the first session cut a little bit short, but no, fantastic effort from the girls, start to finish. It's good to see that they're, from the very start, the cues that you're putting in there and the coaching points they're putting in there, they're able to relay that at the end as well. So that tells us it's just me a positive standpoint for the rest of the season. Oh, the rest of the week, sorry.
Yeah. My name's David Clements and I'm in the same role as Rudy.
Then tell us how you got on with the boys.
Yeah, for me their attitudes was class. They're demanding from each other, which is something I'm big on. Even at the end when we're coming in there, it's can I get this in for you? I'll go and get the 2 balls. One of the lads said I'll go and get them for you rather than me. So to him I'm telling him these are the small things that people look for, not just your ability to play, your character as well. So that really shone through in the group I had.
This really for me is what drives the kids on, is to be able to bring them over and witness what it is an academy is like, because I think sometimes the kids get a bit disillusioned about, sure, I only have to train those 2 hours and I can skip an hour training session if I need to. So it's good to see that you've mentioned their attitudes and their behaviours.
It's something I look for in terms of the partnership. I've done a few camps in Ireland now for Celtic, but Rory and Mark and the guys that have been over at Lusk, they're always speaking positively about it to me and saying, it's one of the ones you want to go and do, and people look after you, and these are even the small details, like people looking after you, it's massive. Like,
yeah, he gets spoiled with the sandwiches.
I know. I can say I've had the luxury of going there twice now, and it's been brilliant because I've got to grow a bonding with yourself and with the players. Even they're getting off the bus, knowing about 6, 7 of the boys and girls. But I said last time I was in Lusk last year, it's a special partnership. I've been very lucky to go on quite a lot of the trips for the club, but there's not been a club with the sort of general ethos and that Lusk has had. I mean, it's not just a way of being a cash flow and getting players in and taking their fees. It's really caring about them and the wider community. It's one of the best clubs I can say I've been to.
Absolutely, and that's great to hear, because to be honest, as we try to keep that community level football and grow the players and add value to each one of them, no matter what their ability.
Yep.
We take pride in that.
Yeah.
And yes, we lose a very small percentage of the kids who want to try step up a level. That's fine. They always end up coming back, because ultimately they want to play football with their mates and for as long as they can. So if we can add value to them every week at training, and then they have the extra special added value from you guys, it means the world to us. It certainly means the world to them. As you can see, they're all left the pitch here smiling and beaming. That's exactly what it's about. And thanks so much for your time. It's been an absolute privilege again being here with you.
Pleasure.
So look, we'll see you over the weekend, and we'll get loads more sessions in.
Yeah,
absolutely.
When the sessions finished up and back to the hotel, very quick turnaround. We were back out onto the bus and straight to the women's first team game. Took place at Celtic Park against Glasgow Rangers. It was absolutely spectacular. We had a great afternoon at the game. Great scoreline. Celtic were easy winners, I'll say. Might be a bit biased, but it was a very good game for the girls to watch, and the boys, because they got to see that women's football has certainly changed over the course of time, and the excitement of the game was excellent. And our kids were phenomenal. Outside of the part where they actually sat down in the Rangers side, but listen, it was fantastic. They had no issues. They got to meet a manager at the end who gave them all the cheers and the high fives, and Jacinta came over and also gave them the high fives. We got out of there for something to eat, so we went to a lovely restaurant, moseyed back to the hotel, and it was recovery time and relaxing and a bit of free time. Day two, when we started off with a visit to Celtic Park. Pleasure with the guys there. Eric was excellent on the tour, gave them all the details of the club's values and why we are a club that link well.
Where are you from? Ah, excellent. It's great to see you all. So as you're coming along, can I just point out, these are the main trophies in the cabinet that we have here at Celtic Park. And if I can just touch on the centre here, just the major trophy here is the Ladies Scottish Cup, which Celtic won just at the end of last season. And I'm pleased to report that the Celtic ladies defeated Rangers 3-0 in the league.
Oh, we know. We were there.
We were there.
We were there.
So we're absolutely delighted with
And then we moved on to seeing the stadium in its full glory. They'll never forget that in a hurry. Delighted to see that they get into the changing rooms as well. Got to see their favourite team players' jerseys, got to touch their jerseys. It was phenomenal. The pictures don't do justice to be in that room and knowing that there was thumping feet above you on game day. It's a special moment for them.
Gentlemen, can you give me your attention, please? That would be delightful. Could I ask you, please, just have a seat for a few seconds, and I can reassure you that there will be an opportunity to take some photographs. We go from here in the home dressing room. We will make our way out into the technical area beside the pitch here at Celtic Park. So if you haven't been here before, that will be an attraction for you.
Am I in today, coach? Am I in? Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you think we did today?
That's absolute disgrace. The referee, actually, we were robbed. The line VAR, I think VAR is an absolute disgrace. Fair play to the lads. I think Rangers had a decent enough game, but I think we were game on top all the time. But thanks very much. Yeah, thanks.
Up the card. Look happy.
Hail, hail, the king is here.
Congratulating my younger group. I'm old school here. You've been an absolute credit to Lusk
Well done.
football team. An
Well
absolute credit. So if you don't mind me sharing that with you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, so thank you so much,
man.
and thanks to all you.
And the kids had a fantastic presentation. Our growth mindset, or a fixed mindset, works in conjunction with football.
The presentation majority is just all themed around the players. So if you have got any questions anytime myself and David are speaking, just jump in.
We'll just go over the basics of what you'll see in the presentation today. It's more based at you as the players. Okay, so the values, we'll start on that. What are the values of the club? Match day preparation and evaluation, Rory will kind of lead on that. Understanding the psychological qualities, Rory will lead on that as well. And how to achieve success through the correct mindset. Okay, so it all kind of links together through the values. Okay, commitment, respect, integrity and support. These are the kind of foundations of what we're built on, the 4 kind of pillars.
If you've got the attitude where you want to learn, you want to listen, you want to work hard, you'll just keep going up and up and up and up. Again, 110%.
When we finished the tour, they were thrown back into the deep end, and we had a game against West Park. Yeah! On we go! Feel, 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 woo! Is it not?
You tell me. Good? Nervous? Yeah. Nervous? Being nervous is fine. Being nervous is fine. There's not a single person absolutely here that doesn't get nervous by something. Yeah? Now if you're not nervous, you don't care. You're nervous because you care. You're not nervous for any other reason. Yeah, don't misinterpret that. Yeah, it's very, very different from nervous and fear.
It's exciting for us. You don't get nervous, you get excited. Yeah?
We were standing in the stands, and everybody was chatting amongst themselves, so you could still hear all the girls on the pitch. You could hear what they were screaming for the ball. Yes, 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 I'm on. Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay,
They were giving information. Oh, I'm open. Go there.
The other thing I'll say is, I actually thought the Rangers team were more impressive last night than the Celtic team. They were 3-0 down just after half time. You wouldn't have known that the last 20 minutes of that game. Rangers never dropped their heads, they never stopped. The whole game, right to the last minute, the keeper was making a save, the Celtic keeper, they hit the post in the last few seconds. They never stopped, okay?
What did they not do?
Unbelievable attitude.
No, they had one shot. You're in the box, never hit the ball. Shoot, shoot, shoot. That's it, one of you, go long there, around the line. Eliza, Sarah, go! That's it, Sarah. Oh, look. Eliza, again. Go, Sarah. Hands in the middle for you.
Yeah, Sinead, take them up, take them higher. Sinead, take them higher, take them higher. Oh boy, that's a whopper. That's a whopper. Good shout.
Sarah, calling for it down the line. Take your time, go down now. That's it, good ball. That's it, well done, Sarah.
Go on, you them.
Give, go. Becca's in the middle. Go on, kid. Look at Becca. Oh, yeah.
Touch, hit.
Finish.
What a save, the keeper.
Well done, keeper. Let it go!
Goes number 10. She's through again.
Kim, win! on, Kane.
Go press the keeper, go press the keeper.
Yeah.
Get the ball spread up.
Get it spread, yeah.
And it's on, because like that's exactly what I said will happen. They'll condense one side. See if we can get that ball and it's either a switch or it's one into the midfield and then switch.
Come on, Kim. That's yours, Kim.
To be fair, it's a very tight game. There's been a few opportunities for both sides. So
the score didn't reflect the match. The girls were excellent, and it was obvious the stuff that they'd taken in on the Friday, they really implemented in their game on Saturday. They worked extremely hard, had chances on goal. Every one of them worked the socks off on the pitch.
I think there was a few times where we got the ball central, we looked up, we saw someone coming, and we went, oh no, there's someone coming here. And we tried to just send it. Okay, what did we say doing in training? What did we say? Spread like ball. Okay, we done so well, we played narrow, and then when there was options to play wide, okay, at times maybe we were just a little bit slack in playing them. Okay, but that's my own personal opinion. And this is only one game and I've only worked with you for 45 minutes outside that. Okay, however, mindset and personality, attitude, okay, I can't fault. There's a lot of people who one goes in, two goes in, and they stop playing. They don't want to play. They don't want to play because they have a fear of losing. Okay, that wasn't there. Yeah, there was so many shouts I heard. Come on, let's keep going. Let's see it to the end. Let's keep going. Now that's an attitude that will take you anywhere. Okay, so don't let that drop at all. I said at half time it was probably unlucky. I'd say maybe unfortunate. It probably could have been 2-1 Lusk. Let's face it. Okay. However, that's the way football goes. The game that we love. Okay, but I think a whole host of positives. Okay, but for me, it gives me some things we can work on. Yeah, in between now and the time you go. But tons of positives. So lift your head. Yeah. Okay, it might be a bit sore that we lost, but tons of positives to an individual for character, for attitude. Can't fault you. So well done. Give it, put a hand up. Get a big self pat at the back. When you go Gaffer, into you.
That evening then, we had a special moment for the kids. They get to do things as Celtic partners that no other club get to do, and that's train on the first team facilities. Both teams were brought out. The girls had a recovery session on one pitch at Lennoxtown, and the boys had a training session on the opposite side, getting them ready for their game on Sunday morning, obviously. Jose was there to oversee everything.
Hands up for you, Jose. Hands up for you.
Here we go. Now's my time for a save. Yes! Magnificent. Play.
There's a lot to learn, and being able to do that in a first team facility like Lennoxtown is special for us all. So after a long day and a hard graft for both teams, we decided to spoil them, and this is the social part of it, knowing that there is rewards for all of their hard work and efforts, and the fact that we can have fun on these trips. So we brought them to a fantastic place who always looks after us when we're over there, called Pizza Punks. Pizzas were exceptional, the pasta was exceptional, great atmosphere in the place, so it was a great evening all around. Sunday morning, straight back to the grind for the boys and the girls. We headed down to Torry Glen, sporting facilities, quality pitches, interestingly provided by the council and the government. You know, I'm looking at this going, why can't we have that here? The boys, they had a match against Lenzie Youth Club.
You lead it. So make sure we're coming down to the second cone. If you were on that cone there, you're now
Great warm up with the boys. All the stuff then they learned in the sessions over Friday and Saturday, obviously drilled into the game on Sunday.
Okay, tell me your first impressions of that team there. Eh?
They're big.
They look good, they're big, okay. I'll tell you what my first impressions is. I can't hear a thing they're saying. I cannot hear anything. What do you think that then tells me about them?
No communication.
No communication, that tells me they might not be confident. They might not be up for it. Okay, so when you go into this next section here, okay, when we're passing that ball, we are loud as we can be, okay? Because then what does that tell them? We're loud, we're up for it, we're confident. We've won the first battle straight away. Okay, so when we're in that pitch, we're already 1-0 up in their heads. Does that make sense? Yeah. This is part of the warm-up.
Remember what they said. Encourage each other no matter what. If they make a mistake, cheer them on. Don't keep them out, alright?
If you make a mistake, everyone support. Yeah, everyone support. If you make a mistake, everyone support. 3, 2, 1.
Look a little tight on James. Played our hearts out, won the game 1-0, took a couple of injuries. We had one player who fractured his wrist, turns out, and didn't want to come off the pitch and played on. You know, it was phenomenal. You know, just gave it their everything.
So Dave, how did you think the guys got on all weekend?
Yeah, I've liked working with them. In fact, love working with them. They're a great bunch of guys, both on and off the pitch. Great work rate. They listen, they're asking questions, and they're really easy to go on with.
And then what advice or tips would you give them going forward for the future?
Well, from yesterday they were giving quite a lot in the presentation, so we would really hope that they've taken a lot of that on in terms of nutrition, their attitude, how they apply themselves. My advice to them yesterday was there's no extra days, it's constant to learn. Take as much information as you can, apply that to yourself, and be true to the values that we tried to get through to them yesterday.
Yeah, so as I said, been very, very lucky to work with Lusk a couple of times and seen a few generations of Lusk teams come through. I spoke to the girls there that the attitude they have amongst the squad and them as individuals really is special. I said possibly one of the last sessions worked on there was playing it for the back, and I don't think that it's something that they do especially wrong, but it's maybe a thing where they lack a little bit of confidence. But that came out last night in our session, and do you mean I think them as a group are going to do really, really well. I know that some of them are quite new to the sport, some of them maybe new to the club as well. So it'd be good to see the sort of areas of development after this as well, because even from the small amount of time I've had them over the last couple of days, really have seen a difference in them, and one of them being the positivity and the confidence that's just really exuded from them from start to finish. So it's really, really good to see that. One of the things that's massive to the club that I'm involved with is just our acronym Peter. And it's every time they come to a session, every time they come to a game, they need to have Peter, and it's purpose. They need to have a purpose being there. They need to have a purpose in the session, and yeah, it's every time they play a pass, every time they're involved in a play, it's all has a purpose to an end goal, and then the next one's intensity. I mean, when they come, they need to know that they're in a training session, they're in a game. They have to work hard. They need to know that it's not always going to be fun. It's not always going to be most enjoyable. Within games, things go wrong, things go against us, but it's always about having that intensity in the way they play. Talking's one of the huge things. I said to the girls last night that really came out in them. But yeah, talking within training, talking within games is massive. That communication element can be the difference between winning and losing games. And one thing, the A in Peter's attitude, for me as a coach and my mantra and my philosophy, that's probably one of the biggest things. And I said that to the girls there. Attitude is something that they've got in an absolute abundance. They really do. They come, they want to work hard, they want to learn, they want to listen, and they just act as sponges and they take in as much information as they can. So yeah, I can say that they've definitely got the right attitude to be in and around Lusk and to be playing football. I really hope the girls do well for the rest of the season, and I'd like to hopefully go over next year or see them for the next time they're over here, and I'm looking forward to see the progression, the development in the squad.
Towards the end, I for one would definitely be interested in staying on another day. Alright, it's been fantastic. Hope you've all enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed today. I certainly enjoyed being here and seeing the girls particularly training and playing, and it was great the lads match today. I thought last night was excellent up at Lennoxtown, but these things don't happen just like that. Alright, there's a lot of planning, a lot of organising, and I didn't do any of it.
So we got there next week.
I didn't do any of it. Alright. There was one person, to be honest with you, all right? So can we give Peter Thompson a massive round?
Hey! You know what?
We can't. We would not be class. We would not be class. All right? Come here. Listen, as somebody who organises bits and pieces, I know exactly the amount of work that goes into this, phone calls and late nights, etc., etc. And I know, listen, I don't expect you to appreciate all that at your age, but believe you me, there's a lot that's gone into it. So I've arranged for a flyover for Peter.
You made a ball today's night, Just
Justice for Peter.
So
that's Caroline Kaling.
Just a little thanks from us, Peter. A little thanks from us. A little presentation from us all there. A little champagne, which you might be able to open after the match. So on behalf of us all, can we give Peter a big round of applause?
Hey! Give it to me now, because I really want to do the last 2 days.
So, I'm just going to make a very quick speech. I want you to try and take this into your heads, please. I want you to try and take it into your heads. So, every club tries to have a particular culture and a particular philosophy, right? A philosophy about how great it should be and why it should be that great and what makes a club so great. So, I said to Clyde earlier on the bus, you guys are our club's philosophy. And when I mean you guys, I mean we have a group of boys and girls who usually don't interact, who know each other, and we've just come away, we've blended immaculately. You've worked hard on the pitch, you've respected each other, you've had a great mutual respect for not only the people around you, the adults, the game, the coaches, the managers. You went out and worked hard on the pitch, and for me, you are what sums up a club's philosophy. It's you. So all I'll ask of you is to continue this when we go home. Don't forget about the journey we've just come on. Now let's build on that. The next time something goes wrong for you, we know how to make it right. As I just said to the lads, it's about having a game face. And a game face is when you're at your best, at a very good moment, and this is your game face now. So well done to all of you. You're a credit to the club, credit to your parents at home, and I for one, particularly humbled by your presence this weekend. So thanks so much.
Well done everybody. Really great.
Come on, Celtic!
Come on, Celtic!
And as the sun was setting there beautifully in the background as we made our bus journey home, I think it just came to roost with most of the kids that, you know what, we wouldn't get this anywhere else but Lusk United, and that's for sure.